right. Well, you guys, welcome back. If you are new here, we are the Habit team. The Habit is a nutrition coaching company made for women by women. Our program is built for you with coaches who put your goals, lifestyle, and personality first. If you want to learn more about us, head to the episode notes or go to thehabit.com. That's habit with a Y to either request more information or book your free discovery call.
Hello. Welcome back to the Habit Podcast. You've got me, Coach Morgan, and Coach Stephanie on the mic today. And we are going to talk about a topic that was actually on the blog. And it was actually a blog that was sent out in an email. So not everyone may have gotten it. You may not be signed up. If you're not, go ahead and go sign up for our newsletters and emails. But it's about the difference between being interested in something, a goal, or being committed to it. So we're going to start off that topic and just want to throw this out there. Everybody has gone through like a goal or something in their life where they are, more interested in it versus being committed to it. So just know these are not like calling anybody out specifically. It's just one of the human things. So what I did whenever I was prepping for this podcast was just thinking about, okay, what are the traits, the differences between someone that is interested and someone that is more committed. And so this is straight from Google. So the interested ones are, you do it when it's easy and convenient. You enjoy the idea of change. You sometimes use excuses. We've all been there. And you love distractions and comfort zones. So that's kind of the traits of someone who's more interested in something, a goal or whatever. The committed person, you do it no matter what, push through obstacles, you put in the work required to achieve the change that you want, find a way to get it done, and loves progress and is willing to fail and to grow. So I thought that was a pretty good list. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right for, something that you're more interested in versus committed. So I also thought of a couple of examples that happen pretty often, and I thought of some ones like for myself too, because like I said, everybody has gone through something where, they're more interested versus committed. So some really popular ones I think are reading more books. Have you ever made that goal for
Yeah.
yourself?
I actually have. And my friend from work, my
Yeah.
other job, lent me a book. And she's like, "Did you ever finish that book?" I was like, "Oh." Like, I guess I
No.
wasn't really committed to do it. I actually said that to
Mm,
her. I was like, I really
yeah.
wanted to be interested in it and like do it,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
couldn't, like, I'm not a reader. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a reader. So
Yeah.
I
Totally.
tried.
Totally. Yeah. And I think too, there's nothing wrong, like, if you're truly not committed to a certain goal or something, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I tell clients that all the time, especially with fat loss. I feel like that is such a big one for us coaches, what we see for, people listening to this. It's one of those goals that you have to be committed to it. You can't just be interested in it. You really have to be committed. And some people just, I start to see, clients maybe kind of going through the motions. Then I ask, like, is this truly, something you are willing, ready to do? Because if
Right.
you're not, it's okay. It doesn't have to be on your top priority list if you don't want it to be. And that's kind of how I view like some of these, like reading books. I'm not the biggest reader either. I've definitely made that a goal and then
Yeah.
like failed completely on it. Um, but it's definitely one I feel like a lot of people try to do, and it's just not happening. Not a big deal if it doesn't either.
Right. I also don't before, like, you go into your next one,
Yeah,
I don't wanna make it seem like being committed means you have to be perfect or some I think a lot of people get turned
exactly. Yes,
off
that too.
because they think being committed means they have to
Yep,
be perfect at it or they have to
true.
be on it and locked in
All the
24/7.
time.
So I
Yeah,
think that that's a big misconception with being committed versus being interested, but I don't
yeah,
I also don't think a lot of people realize that being committed does take a certain amount of sacrifice as well.
yep,
And so there's like
exactly.
there has to be a kind of like a happy
It's nuance.
medium kind of
Yeah,
and at least showing up in like having non-negotiables. I think that's a good way of putting
yeah,
it. Like non-negotiables,
yeah,
okay, maybe I can't be perfect at it for this
yep,
vacation or this weekend or whatever,
right.
but I'm going to show up in this and this way. So
Yeah,
thinking about
exactly.
what can you do instead of okay, I can't do everything this weekend, so I'm not going to do anything.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
I
Yep.
think that's a
Very good point. Yeah. 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 That's a huge point because I think, like you said, I think a lot of people think about it like that. And that's not what committed means. It means just doing your best when you can, doing what you can, even if it's not, perfect, like Stephanie said. Um, then another one that I've also struggled with is keeping the house clean or
Mm,
organized, wanting to be cleaner, having more organized, pantry, whatever it is. And I definitely am that person where I'm like always like, okay, we're gonna clean more, this month or whatever. And then I'm like, ugh, actually get
yeah,
to it. And I'm
it
like,
could
I don't
wait.
really care enough. Like it's clean enough. It's clean enough.
Who's seeing my
Now I have a
floors?
yeah, yeah, seriously, no one's coming over, and I also have a puppy now, I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah, no.
"What am I thinking?" Like, there's no way. It's a mess. Another one's saving money,
Mm,
I feel like a huge one for a lot of people,
mhm.
myself included. I've definitely, um, you know, done the budgeting thing and everything, and it really the one time that I was, like, really into that, and, like, budgeting was when I was paying off my car, and
Mm.
I was, like, so committed to it, nailed it. I got it paid off very quickly, and then I was like, "Alright, done budgeting.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't need to
Now
now."
that
So,
that's
it
done.
was just a priority that for that time, and it served me for that purpose, and it's good.
Right, and
So
actually, that also ties into this too, that there are different times of
mhm,
life where you can be more
exactly.
committed than others, um,
Mhm,
and there's a time and place of somebody who should be very committed and somebody who
mhm.
maybe it's more beneficial to them to not be as
Not be.
committed to
Yeah.
this process and maybe somewhere
Mhm.
else in their life needs a little bit more focus at that moment too. So there it
Yeah.
all comes with the time of life that you're in as well. With
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the major things, just, what is, like I like to think of it kinda like top 3 or, like, top 5 priorities of, like, truly, like, what matters to me, like, right now,
Mhm.
and those things shift all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like, they're constantly changing, like, with the seasons almost or just stage of life that you're in or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sometimes they're priorities, sometimes they're not, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
I just talked to a client today about that actually.
Oh, yeah?
About how, she went out for the weekend. She had like a little like get together and,
Woohoo.
she was going back and forth and being like frustrated that she didn't stick
Mm.
to it 100 like as much as she I guess
Yeah.
could have. But at the same time she was happy that she was able to do what she could and still enjoy the time away with her friends. And
Right.
I said, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with having that time and being
Exactly.
okay with things just maybe progress just stalling a little bit this week.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
had a good time and then now you move on, get back to habits. But then I also made it a point to her, if you are continuously being frustrated, then that's something we need to talk
Mhm.
about because then that
Right.
means we need to be a little bit more committed. And that does come with maybe sacrificing on those
Mhm.
weekends a little bit and not partaking
Yes.
in every little treat and drinks and desserts and stuff that
Right.
everybody else is
Right.
partaking in. So you have to
Mhm.
take what's worth it to you and what's not worth it to you.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and that's why I mentioned earlier just the fat loss piece. It's such a, like, big commitment, like, it is huge, and there's sacrifice that just if you want results from it, you want the fat loss to happen, there's a level of commitment and sacrifice
Yeah.
that you have to be willing and ready to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all about, what's priority, what's not. Another really kind of, like, random one as I was thinking of things that I've struggled with in the past, like, where I've been more interested versus committed, and they were kinda small ones really, but one of them was, using a planner. Do you use a
Oh,
planner?
a
Like, one that you write
planner.
in?
I thought you said a planter.
Yeah.
A planner.
Oh,
Um,
that too. I'm not a plant person.
no, I would love to use a planner. I
Same.
I am
Same.
very interested in using a planner. I
Yep.
the most I do is I write things on my Google Calendar, and
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
same.
just my reminders. I have my little dings
Yep.
that go off in case I forget. But no,
Yes.
I
Yes.
I don't have like a physical planner that I write things
Write it
in.
out. Yeah.
I wish I did. I also wish I had like an address and telephone number
Oh,
book
yeah.
with all
Book.
the people
Mhm.
that I know.
Mhm.
I've
Yep.
always wanted to do that as well. I don't have that because
Mhm, yeah. I
I'm
know
not one of
that's
those people that like remembers phone numbers and stuff. Like I can't.
Oh, yeah, no, me neither.
No.
There's too many things to remember like that now. I'm like, I have to remember a password to, like, 15 different things. There's no way I'm
Yeah,
remembering
and then,
a
like,
telephone
every
number at
time I
this
need to
point.
send something out, I'm, like, asking my friends, I'm like, "What was your address again?" I'm like and I'm so
Yep.
embarrassed. I'm
Yep.
like, "I really need to
I
write this
know.
down."
Same, same. Yeah, but the planner one, like, I would love to be a like, write it down, it all cute and, like, organized in my cute little planner, and I've tried to do it where I bought, like, a nice planner, it was kind of expensive, and then just literally, like, stopped after 2
Yeah,
weeks.
you think
So I'm like,
because it's, like, a
just one of
nice
those
fancy
things.
one, you're gonna use it,
Yeah,
but no.
yep, and it's cute, and I'm like, I'm just not that person. It's not that big of a deal. But that's kind of the point I wanted to make too is, some of the, like, goals that we have for ourselves, like, little ones, like a planner, that kinda thing, it's just where that means saying that that doesn't really matter to me, it's not a priority to me, isn't that big of a deal because I'd still get things done. I put things
Mhm.
in my phone, on my Google Calendar, on my Apple Calendar, or whatever. So I think some of them is just knowing or some of the things about it is just knowing that you don't need to be 100% committed to everything, kinda going back to the priority list kinda shifting, with the stage of life.
Yeah.
It's okay to be interested in some things, okay to quit goals that don't matter to you, it's okay to realize something isn't a priority. And I think, one of the big ones, like I've said that, we see a lot being a health coach, is someone who comes to us and says, improving their health is one of their biggest priorities. And they've been saying that maybe for years, saying that they want to be in a healthier spot or lose weight, whatever it is. Then it is worth asking, okay, our actions, matching that priority. That kind of goes back to what you were saying about with your client over the weekend. Like, if she continues to get frustrated after every weekend about, what happens, then there's a level of like, okay, conversation about sacrifices, that kind
Right,
of thing.
right. Because some people, I feel like every client is different. Like, some clients come and they're like, "I'm ready to be locked in. This is very important
Yep.
to me. I wanna be committed to it,"
Yep.
there's nothing wrong with that. If somebody wants to lock in and they want to, be on top of everything, that's great. But I don't think that
Mm-hmm.
that's for everyone either. I think that there comes with some people need a little bit more balance in their life, and everyone's just at
Hmm.
different stages. So it all comes down to what what level of commitment are you willing to put into this, and like how important are those goals to you? Because if they're super important, you just have to be committed to it. There's
Hmm.
no part of life,
No way
like, a
around.
lot of people wait until everything's perfect in life or the perfect time
Mhm.
where, "Well, I have this coming up," or, "I have a vacation," and
Yeah.
then it's my birthday, and then it's, "I have a weekend getaway," and, like, there's always gonna be something. So,
Right. Totally.
if you really think about it, there's always something, like, there's always, like, "Oh, well, then
Always
it's
something.
summer and it's 4th of July, oh," and then it's,
Yeah.
like, the holidays, but then it's, like,
Yeah.
Halloween and we
Yeah.
have all candy around. So, like, there's always something.
Yep.
So you just
Yep.
have to you just have to make the decision for yourself. Like, is this something I'm willing to be committed to for a certain amount of time to kind of get to a place where I feel comfortable again? Or
Mhm.
is it maybe not the best time? Like, is it maybe not that important at this moment in life? You just have to decide
Right.
for yourself. And I feel like a lot of people
Mhm.
think once they get a coach, it's going to make them more
Mhm.
committed.
Yeah.
Sometimes that is the case because it's
Yeah.
accountability. A lot of
Mhm.
people need accountability, myself included sometimes. Like, I've had coaches before, and
Mhm.
I'm it's a little bit of a different feeling when you have someone checking up on you and, like,
Totally.
kind of looking at what you've been doing.
I was just gonna add that, it doesn't automatically make you committed to something though
Right,
when you,
that's what I was
pay
saying.
for a
If you have a
coach.
coach,
Yeah.
it doesn't like, a coach can't make you be committed. They can
Yeah. Yeah.
encourage you and cheer you on and help you figure out
Mhm.
what works for you, what doesn't work for you, but they're not
Mhm.
gonna do the work for you. Like, it has to come
Yep.
from within
It's
you.
not possible.
Yeah, and
Yep.
self-efficacy, believing you can be
Mhm.
committed is a big thing too.
Right. 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 Yeah, that honestly, that almost was my exact answer to this question I was about to ask, but I'll go ahead and ask it and we can kind of piggyback off it some more. No, it's okay. It's totally fine.
Sorry.
You literally took the words out of my mouth. So one of the questions I was going to ask was, do you think some people say a goal is important to them, but when you look at how they're spending their time and energy, it's actually not a priority? So for me, I feel like, as coaches, we probably see this quite a bit. It's part of our job. The thing that it comes down to is if it's not a priority to you right now, that's okay. You're in charge of that. You're the only person that can, say if that's a priority or not. I can't tell you to make this a priority and then you do it. It just doesn't work that way.
Correct.
Um, and in the meantime, if we're doing fat loss, I keep going back to that because that's truly what I see the most.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, let's not just go through the motions when you're not actually committed because it's just, I always like to call it like being in a fat loss mindset, but physically not being in fat loss.
That is the
And
most
that is just
frustrating
like,
thing.
yes, it's awful. You're basically just maintaining thinking that you should be
Mhm.
losing, and it's not good physically, it's not good mentally, it's just not great. Um, so going back to the fat loss, it's super hard, ton of work, so you have to be committed in order to be successful with it. And I'm never making anyone do that because ultimately I don't have control over anyone. So kind of like what we were talking about earlier. And fat loss is hard. If depending on the person, obviously everyone's different, but if you don't truly want to do it, you're doing it because you maybe feel like you need to, or since you signed up for coaching, you'd like to lose weight in the process or whatever it is. But if you don't really, want to be committed to it, it's not worth trying to like white knuckle your way through it or force it or just go through the motions.
Yeah.
So,
And I don't know. I feel like I don't know how to word this. I feel like
mhm,
sometimes people that just have aesthetic goals
mm,
might not be as committed because they didn't dive deeper into other reasons that might be a little bit more important than aesthetics.
yes. Yeah,
Like
I agree.
if somebody really dives deep into why they want to change their body and how they want to
Mhm,
feel, and
mhm.
really look at that part of their why instead of like, oh, I just want to have like this pant size or I just want to be my
Right.
pre-baby weight again. Like
Mhm.
what comes with that? Like what comes
Yeah.
with not with being in that pant size? What comes with being your
Mhm,
pre-baby weight? And then it spirals into, okay, I'm going to be confident again. I'm going to actually be
mhm,
healthy. I'm going to be able to play with my children.
mhm.
I'm going to be able to go on hikes or whatever it is that you like to do. It's just ease of living. And you're doing it for your
Yeah, totally.
future self, really. What you
Mhm,
do now
mhm,
is going to greatly impact how you live later on in life. So I
mhm.
feel like the more you dive into those things and the real true reasons of what comes with having a healthy body and not just a sick looking like an awesome, I use the
Yeah.
word sick as in awesome looking
Yeah, yeah,
physique. I don't know if
yeah.
that's a New York thing or whatever, but
No, no, no,
okay.
you're good.
So I think that has a lot to do with people's commitment as
Absolutely.
well.
Yeah. Yeah, me too, and that actually made me think of a conversation I had with a client today, just over text. She's a newer client, and so she's going through, like, all the onboarding stuff, and she asked, she was like, are we required to do the, find your purpose?
Mm,
Which is basically in the onboarding, there's a couple sections to it. It's called Finding Your Purpose, and it pretty much, asks you to do what Stephanie just mentioned, like going through your why. Like, why did you sign up? Like, what do you want to, accomplish? What do you want to be in the next year? That kind of stuff. Kind of getting you to dig deeper into why you have this goal for yourself, other than I wanna lose 20 pounds, I wanna wear a bikini again, whatever
right.
it is.
Like
And I
why?
had told her yeah, like, just, like, why? Asking the why question. And, in my head, I was like, "Well, technically" she's gonna listen to this and be like, "Hey, he said it was required." But technically, it's not, I guess, required. I don't know, if it really is or not, but, I just told her, "Yeah, go ahead and do it, this is a great time to, explore why you're doing this." And it helps me as your coach kinda get to know you better and know how to coach you and know what's important to you and that kinda thing, but also, just having that solid why you're doing something. it's going to make it more likely where you're going to follow through
Yeah. And if you
instead of
do
just
do that
working
exercise,
towards.
it's really cool to look back on once you like
Yes,
are like
that's what I
well
told her
into
too.
the program, and then you
Mhm.
look back at what you wrote in the past. It really is
Mhm.
like something cool to have. So yes,
Yes,
it
yes,
is
and I always love it.
required. I'm making it
Yep, do it.
required.
That's what I said. I was like, "Yeah, it is." Um, but it's always so fun to go back and look at it, and I told her that too. I was like, "We're gonna refer to it every once in a while," and I do that with most of my clients. I like to put it, in their tracker
Yeah.
so we can check on it and see how close we are to their best self day. That's another big part of it.
Mhm.
And it's cool whenever that falls within, their program timeline.
Right.
And so it's cool to see like, okay, like this is your best self day. Like where you at, and it's also cool because I think the wide changes for a lot of people too. Once they start to like feel the changes, the differences, they learn about nutrition and all the good stuff that we coach. But it's cool to see like how things shift.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, next question. How do you know when a goal truly matters to you versus when you just like the idea of it? Um, for me, I'll go first
Mhm.
so you can have time to think about
Okay.
your answer. But I'm okay with letting it go, like the planner thing. Like it didn't take me. I didn't lose sleep over it. Let's just say that it was just one of those things. I was like, whatever. I'm just not a planner person. I won't buy another fancy planner again, and just use my phone. But if it's super easy to let go, that just tells me, like, it's just not a priority, and that's fine. We actually did a podcast a couple months ago. I think it was me and Champagne, about goals and my in-laws, and, we set our goals for, like, 2026, so it was, like, New Year's, resolutions, goals, and I had, like, 50 plus goals knowing that I wouldn't hit them all, and so that was kind of our plan was to do that.
Right.
My brother-in-law, he listens to it's like a golf podcast, honestly, but they do this every year, and it's kinda just to, like, have some fun, like, silly ones on there, then have some ones that, like, really mean something to you, so
Mhm.
we kinda did that same thing. Basically, just knowing, like, we're not gonna hit, like, half of these probably, but that's fine. And so, one of them was golf, and I truly do not care if I golf. It doesn't make a difference to me. I think I put on there, like, play, like, 5 rounds of, like, a full round of golf, or 5 rounds of full golf, 18 holes, and I, have not even played one, so that's not happening. And it would be a hobby me and my husband could share, but, like, at the end of the year, if it didn't even make it on, like, my top 10 priority list, it's not a big deal. It's
Right.
just something I was kind of interested in, like, had nothing else to do,
Right.
one of those things,
Yeah,
so,
I got you.
yeah.
I think if a
Yeah.
goal
What about you?
if a goal directly affects my life, like, in a big way, I will prioritize
Mm.
it. Like, that's why this isn't hard for me to prioritize because I know,
Yeah.
not only for my future, but I know that this trickles into every area of my life, truly. Like, if I am not on top of my health and my fitness, everything else just seems to be a little bit more chaotic. And, like, not just go I'm not just saying, like, going to the gym affects my mood or whatever. I'm saying,
Right.
like,
Mhm.
the way that I carry myself in every area of my life is affected
Yeah,
by how I show up for myself with my nutrition and my exercise, and that's not to say that I'm
I
perfect at it
agree.
all the time. I can say that because I haven't been perfect with him all the time. So I
Yeah,
know
right.
that when I don't feel good in my health and the way that I don't know, I guess it's a certain amount of confidence that you have or the way you carry
Mhm.
yourself or just the way that you feel, like not lethargic,
Mhm.
not brain
Mhm.
foggy. That carries
Mhm.
into every area of my life. So I will p I
Yes.
it's very important to me that I will do it.
Yeah.
Something that I tried to do, like, within the past month was try to play the piano. So I bought
Oh,
myself
yeah.
a keyboard, and
Mhm.
I think I learned, like, one song on it, like, one verse of a song, like, not even, like, chords, like, just, like, literally
Right.
playing the notes
Just the
one
notes.
by one.
Yeah.
And I haven't touched it since. So, not to say that it's not important to me, I'm not interested in it because I really do wanna learn, But
Yeah.
something like that doesn't directly
It's not a
impact my
priority.
life, it doesn't
Yeah.
it takes a little bit
Exactly.
more for me to get committed to that.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's like golf for me. It's one of those things, it's like, it'd be cool. Like, yeah, I'd like to golf,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's not like top like 5 on priorities.
Yeah.
And I completely agree with you on the, how like your lifestyle with health and everything um trickles into every other area. That's the one thing I really noticed when I started like doing macros and working out consistently and kind of getting my health together basically was that it made me more like committed in other areas. Like I was
Yeah.
more committed at work to doing better work.
Mhm.
I was more committed in relationship. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like
It
the
just you just
complete
show
like
up different.
change.
You show up
Yeah.
different, for
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
And, like, when I
Yeah.
went
It's
through
pretty
my
cool.
whole, like, nervous system
Mhm.
dysregulation
Mhm.
thing, like, I couldn't really exercise during that time, to be honest,
Right.
but
Yep.
I was absolutely committed to doing my, like, somatics and
Right.
my breathing and, gratitude journals and
Mhm.
things resting. Like, at that point,
Mhm.
my
Yeah.
priority was resting my body to make it feel
Rest.
safe again. So,
Mhm.
this comes with different stages of life, like we had said
Yep.
before. Like, you just have to prioritize and be committed to what's going to impact your life in that stage.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Um, so the next question I was gonna ask you kind of already answered for me too, but not for me, but for yourself, is what's something you wanted to do for years, but you haven't actually like fully committed to? Mine is getting my certification for personal training. That's
Mm.
something that's kind of just been kind of like in like the back of my mind
Mhm.
every year. I'm like, I should do that. Like, I have my nutrition, like, do personal training. And I had actually started on it a long time ago now, but I had started on a personal training certification. And at the time, I didn't realize there was like a specific like nutrition one and then a specific like personal training one. So I had signed up for a personal training one and paid for one, thinking it would just be more nutrition focused. And so then I was just like, oh, like this stinks. This isn't what I wanted to do. And then didn't finish it, did the nutrition instead. Anyways, that is something that I've, thought about a lot. Um, but just haven't completely committed to it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mine would be the piano, I guess.
the piano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really do wanna sing in
Yeah.
church
Is it
too,
still
but I
oh, yeah.
haven't, like,
Okay, cool.
committed myself to that or yet either.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I
We'll
do
do it
yeah,
one of these days.
I'll learn the piano. I have the keyboard
I
now. That was
actually
the first step.
yeah, that's true. Yep, yep. I actually, learned I, like, was self-taught for piano for a little bit, like, as a child, it was crazy. My stepmom, she homeschooled all of her children,
Mm.
and she has 4 kids, and she homeschooled all of them up to a certain point, like, the last 2 were homeschooled the entire time, but she did piano as part of their, like, schooling and stuff, and, like, so we had, like, the piano books that were, like, teaching piano books, so they're
Yes.
really, really cool, and so I, like, learned all the notes and did all the things, and I think once it got to, like, a certain level, I think I was, like, a 4th grader at this
Oh
point
my
in
god.
time. I was like, "I'm kinda stuck."
Yeah.
Like, I can't, like, teach
Aw.
myself now. So, I learned up to a certain extent, but I've probably forgotten just about everything, so
Yeah. One day.
but one day,
One
and I'll get
day.
that personal training
Yeah.
certification one day. But anything else you can think of that we should add to the interested versus committed, or do you feel like you covered it?
I feel like we did talk a lot about that. It's just deciding what what is worth it to you right now and what's not, and
Yeah,
realizing that, if it's really worth it to you, you just have to you gotta go all in and not let
yeah,
yourself down. Like, I feel like
yeah.
that's a big part too. Like, I
Mm,
don't wanna let myself
mhm.
down. Like, I don't wanna not
Yeah,
keep the promises to myself that I told myself I would keep, because then
yeah,
how do I expect anybody else to show up in life for me if I can't show up for myself?
yeah,
So,
yeah, totally. Yeah,
I
I
think
agree with that. I think
that's part of it.
that
Like,
yeah,
not letting yourself down and believing that you can.
yeah. exactly. And, kind of to piggyback off that, it's like, I think you might have mentioned this earlier. It's really like identifying as someone who can do this, or whatever
Mhm.
goal it is. Like when it comes to fat loss or, going to the gym, lifting, running, whatever it is, thinking about, I don't just have this goal. I'm a person that runs. I'm a person that lifts. I'm a person that, you know,
Eats healthy.
um, yeah, eats healthy, all that good stuff. So really, like, what's your identity with it, and like how it's linked and everything. I
Right.
think that's a big one. But also another thing I was going to add is, if you're a current client or someone who's thought about, signing up for the habit or anything, and you are listening to this podcast and thinking about, okay, maybe I've been a little bit leaning like towards more the interested side versus the committed
Mm.
side. I think this is just good to, kind of be able to tell like which camp you're in. And knowing, okay, now I can see like the differences since we've like gone through everything about, am I more interested? Am I more committed? So that you can make the decision like, okay, yep, I maybe I need to be a little bit more committed if I truly like deep down have this as a priority or whatever it is. So wanted to throw that out there. But if you've listened to this and you're ready to commit, we always have free discovery call options on our website. So you can book one of those and someone on our team will chat with you about your goals, answer questions, help you decide if you would be a good fit for the habit and coaching. So that is always there for you. But until next time,
Yeah.
we'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.